Fruitypants here, and I wanted to talk about my grieving plan and how that went. Some of you would have seen my last video was on desperation in relationships, where I had some desperate grasping at the end of like a breakup situation. I just broke up with someone, and we broke up together. Yeah. And so anyway, yeah, after I made that video, I did end up going back for another taste like a week later, and you know, I wanted to get out in nature with someone peaceful and meditative, and he's always really peaceful. That was like in this relationship, I feel like that's the gift that he gave me, was a gift of being able to get in touch with the peace in myself, which was really great. And I was like, wow, I need to get out in nature, and so you know, and he was like the only one. My intuition was like, no, don't go and see him, you know, you've already established that, you know, that's not good for you. But anyway, I went ahead and did that, and got really clearly from my intuition that, like, when I go against my intuition like that, because we've like established that there's an aspect of him that, like, where we have this values clash, and when I deny that values clash, I was being told that I lost access to my creativity when I didn't like acknowledge like that values clash and how important it is to me. So that was really interesting. So anyway, I still wasn't willing to cut contact despite that, and but a few days later I got the willingness, and I said, hey, I sent this really loving email and just said, hey, I just need to cut contact to move on, and thank you so much for what you've given me, you know. And since then I've managed to not be in contact, and I was like, hey, you know what, I can have a peaceful meditative time at a river with other people if I just ask them first, like, do you mind if we go meditate at a river? What a concept. So now I've put that out to my support network, and now there's a whole bunch of ladies with cars who can you know, drive me out to the waterholes, and I can go and meditate, and I don't need to call him. So that's really great. So that's part of my grieving plan. But so the grieving plan was this, and it came to me as an intuition. It wasn't like right, I'm going to do this, it's going to be like this. I feel like it's really important to know that about this plan. It was like intuitively it came to me. This was like the day after I cut contact, and I was feeling really grievy, and like I just wanted to go into the hole of darkness and feelings. It's a good place to go when you're meant to go there. So anyway, and I intuited to let myself eat, like let my inner child eat whatever she wanted to eat, as long as it was vegan, like plant-based, like no animal products. But anything, any vegan junk food, any processed, anything. You know, I had chip sandwiches for dinner 3 nights in a row. Anyway, it was great. And ice cream for breakfast, hash browns for breakfast. So I intuited to like just let it be like that, just be in the grieving until the Sunday, which was going to be like 3 days or something. And then on the Monday, you know, dance class was going to start again, and I was like, I'll go back to pretty much raw, and I'll start looking ahead. And that was an intuitive thing. It wasn't like, okay, fucking that's going to be it, no more grieving. And yeah, this was really different for me, because I don't think I've ever been able to like, I can tell I never would have been able to go through with something like this before. Like, just wanted to think about what I actually wanted to say about this. So in the past, I've been too caught up in perfectionism, and too caught up in like, I should be like this, or I should have thought of this, or like, why did I stick around for so long? I had this intuition then, or like, maybe if I did this, he would have done this, like all this kind of thinking. And there would have been a lot of emotional collapse for me. That's always been the pattern for me, a lot of emotional collapse, like, because of perfectionism, because of being so hard on myself, and then being like, I shouldn't still be caring about this, and so many rules that I put on myself. And this time, because last year I had a massive crash over a 2-week relationship, a massive, like probably like 6-month crash over a 2-week relationship. That sounds really hardcore. You might be like, are you crazy? Yes, I am crazy. But I hope that makes you guys feel better, who might also have big crashes over things like that. And anyway, yeah, I want to say, I just lost my train of thought. Oh, shit. Oh yeah, so after I had the crash last year, then I was like, far out, man. The worst thing about that was, well, the thing that made me crash wasn't the relationship. It was what I did in my head about the relationship afterwards, you know. It was how hard on myself I was. It was how much of a perfectionist I was. I was so critical on myself, and so many demands that I was like, you should have fucking known. You should have done that. It's really hardcore. So this time I was like, right, number one, be kind to myself. Number one, I've got to be kind. And the other thing was, I've got like a creative thing in the pipeline that I have hope about. So I was like, all right, I know I'm losing my shit here, but I don't want to lose my shit for too long, because I've got something I believe in that's going to be really beautiful. So that was a really great benefit this time as well. And so yeah, so this thing came to me, this plan came to me, which would never have worked before in the past, because I just would have been too perfectionistic. I was too much like I couldn't do anything gradually. I couldn't do anything with temperance before. I was like a pinball in a pinball machine, just hoping I flicked myself into the right hole and stayed there. Never worked. But yeah, so yeah, so I intuited this plan to love and be gentle with myself for 3 or 4 days, and then to face forward. And you know, when I first heard of someone making a plan like that, I was like, that sounds a bit harsh, like putting a limit on your grieving like that. But it wasn't really like that. Like, it wasn't like, okay, after Sunday, no more grieving. It was just like, okay, I'm just going to change my focus on Monday. And, you know, all through those days up to Sunday, like, I ate heaps of processed food, and I felt really good about it. And I didn't binge, like, it was amazing. It just was like, it was very loving, comforting food, yeah. And then Sunday afternoon, I got some like panicky feelings. I was like, oh shit, I've got to let go now. I'd be like, oh no, this is really final. And then luckily I spoke to someone and they were like, no, it's not final, it's just for now. And I was like, oh sweet. And of course everything only is just for now. Like, you don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. You might know, you might be psychic, I don't know. But I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm shaking now, so yeah, that helped me feel better. I was like, oh, it's just for now. It's like, okay, I have to just not call him for today. Just for today. But I was like, maybe I can call him tomorrow. You know? And that's how I've been looking at it, and that feels a lot better for me. It's a lot easier. Like, it's just like, yeah, it's just for now, you know, and I don't know what's happening in the future, and that makes me feel, wow, so much better in my heart. And the next day, Monday came, I woke up and I was okay, and I was like, right, gonna get my orange juice in early, so you know, I'm gonna have to work out of this processed food. Body always wants more processed food, I find, when I've been eating it. And you know, and I haven't done the food thing perfectly, but I've done it quite well, and I have been able to turn my attention to, like, you know, ahead, to be present and go, okay, right, I'm doing something else now. And that was like, whoa, that really happened. Like, I didn't know what would happen. Like I said, this has never happened to me before, and it really happened. I really did turn my attention to the future, and or you know, like, I turned my attention away from him, and yeah, and it's been alright. Like, I know that I could still, like, there's that place in me that, like, I could still go, like, if I saw him or whatever, I could be like, oh no, like, there's some way, like, please. Like, that's definitely in there, but I'm just, like, not accessing that right now. I'm focusing somewhere else, and yeah, so it actually really worked, which is really great. But all that progress is, you know, the result of all the hundreds of people that have helped me over my years of recovery. So congratulations to all of you. Look what's happened. It's really good. Yeah, everything I achieved is like totally a group effort. So I just thought I just wanted to share that with you. I know a lot of you, I did all these posts on Facebook that were really, really honest, and then I just got all this love. People were being so loving, and I was like, wow. Like, I stopped censoring myself, and people were being really loving, and I was just like, wow. All this time I've been trying to put myself out there in a way to be liked, and then when I stopped trying and just started being myself, yeah, it really spoke to people, which maybe we're like really similar people. Okay, this is a really long video, but I'm going to post it as a long video anyway.
fruit and vegetables.